This is Pastor Tito here, and we are taking a little bit of a detour, focusing on something over the next 2 weeks, because you know what? We're going to answer a question that honestly, if I guarantee it, if you haven't asked this question, you are deep down wondering or confused, right, on how to address certain things. And so right now, the one thing that we're going to talk about today is, look, I got a question. How do I win an argument? Now, I don't know if you've ever thought about that. I'm pretty sure you have, right? And because listen, no one likes to lose an argument. I mean, I know I don't. I mean, I know you don't. No one likes to lose an argument. We all want to be able to win, right? We feel good in kind of like sharing our opinion and convincing someone, or let's be honest, some of you feel good in kind of letting somebody else kind of exposing their thinking and exposing a little bit of their, whatever the situation would be. Now, that's a question that as Christians, I don't know if you've ever considered. How do I win an argument? There is a way that we can win an argument, but there's also a way that we can lose. And that's the important thing, that we need to make sure that we are doing the right thing and not the other thing. Now, some of you like to argue, some of you probably don't, right? You probably avoid that altogether. But listen, as Christians, this is an important thing, because we need to understand, because if you have never, or if you try to avoid arguments, trust me, you will find yourself at one point in one situation in an argument. And if you don't know how to win it, you are going to lose more than you think, all right? And so the thing is, guys, as we're looking at this, when you jump into an argument, right? When it is, whether it is, who is the best at this and that, right? When you are, that's simple things, right? When you're just kind of sharing your opinion between, is this good, is this not good, was the greatest musician of all time, song of all time, this of all time, that's all irrelevant. Sometimes we'll get into a real deep, messy argument. Right now, in the recording of this video, as we're playing it, we are in the middle, not in the middle, we are at the end of a very, very tense political season, right? We're about to vote for president really, really soon. And this is, when it comes to politics, that kind of a conversation can turn into an argument and can turn into a fight real fast, right? See, that's the thing, is that when you don't know how to win an argument, things can go bad very quickly. So the question that we're asking is, so how can we get better at arguing? Well, do you know that the Bible tells us how we can get better at arguing? James 1:19 says this: "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry." Now, those are one of those things that says it's, sounds easier said than done, but just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. And the fact that James is telling us to do it means that through the power of the Holy Spirit, we can learn to argue in this way. Now, again, look at the model, right? What does he say? Be quick to listen and slow to speak, slow to anger. When we get into arguments that kind of go wrong, it's really the opposite, right? We are quick to anger. We are quick to react emotionally. And then we're quick to speak and then slow to listen. That's interesting that we naturally get it backwards. So, because that's the wrong way, by the way. So how do you lose an argument? Well, that way. You lose an argument not by dropping that knowledge bomb or this and that. No, you lose an argument if you are quick to react emotionally, slow to listen, quick to speak. That is how you lose an argument. But the best way, how do we approach those things? We flip that. We flip that through the power of the Holy Spirit. We flip that. And we say we are quick to listen, meaning I really want to hear your side of the story. Not just your side of the story, I want to hear how you got there. How did you go from A to B to C to all the way to Z where you are right now? How did you get there? I want to be quick to listen to make sure, because so many times when we're quick to speak, it's because we are assuming something and that's not what that person said. And so being quick to listen actually is what keeps us from being, really helps us from being slow to anger. Because if we're listening, I'm like, okay. And then when we are able to truly listen well, now you are able to speak articulately. You are able to speak to the root of the issue. Because listen, a lot of times we just want to be able to share our opinion because it feels good to say it. And a lot of times, and here's the wise thing about not being quick to speak, because you can put your foot in your mouth that way. When we're quick to speak, when we are slow to listen and quick to speak, you're gonna make yourself out to look a little, I don't know. So being slow to listen actually is very wise, because it helps us to make sure, wait a minute, what is the topic of conversation? What are we doing here? And then when you are slow to speak, then doesn't mean you shouldn't speak. Doesn't mean that you should not speak the truth. No, because we know we're supposed to speak the truth in love. But when we listen, we're able to pray and listen not only to the person, but we're also listening to the Holy Spirit. Lord, how should I answer this individual right now? How should I answer this individual right now? And how should I answer in love, not in emotion and not triggered by any kind of way? Now, I know I said it sounds easier said than done, but just because, it's in here, James is saying we can do it, so that means it's possible. And what makes it possible is the Holy Spirit. And so the application is this: the next time you find yourself in a situation, whether if it's a silly debate, whether if it's a serious one, or maybe you're caught yourself, maybe you're arguing with your parents, right? Your parents are arguing with you. Maybe they started the argument, or you started the argument. You want to make sure that you're not the one starting it. Let's just kind of put it there, all right? But let's just say you find yourself in a situation. Now you find yourself in an argument. What you need to do is pause, reflect, and say, okay, God, how can I help me to listen to both them and you, and help me be able to speak what is it, not kind of say hurtful things, harmful things, because when you're triggered emotionally and then you start talking, your words become daggers. And so that's why it's so important to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, because here's the bottom line. You never win an argument if you lose the relationship. That's the bottom line. If there's a motivation for why you should do this, it's this. Okay, why should you be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger? Number one, because that's how we honor God. And number two, it's this: because you never win an argument if you lose a relationship. Maybe you were right and you just totally eviscerated that person, but you end up losing if you lose a relationship. And in the end, what matters? As Christians, we are not called to win arguments. As Christians, we are called to win souls. That's what we're called to do. And so when it comes to, yes, and here's where the church family comes in, because when you're able to have a crew of people that love you, this is where you can learn how to have disagreements, learn how to deal. You have a small group leaders, mentors, spiritual brothers and sisters that you can look to, pastors, right? That you can say, listen, man, I'm really struggling with being slow to speak. I'm really struggling being slow to anger. And what you want to do is, number one, take it to God, always. Number one, take it to God. And number two, make sure that you have people around you that you can discuss it, talk it out, work with you, and help you to say, okay, well, how can I follow through? Okay, that's what the church is for, is to help you to be able to create that safe place where you can kind of express your way and express yourself, yet explore and learn how to grow. How to say, okay, let me not go that way. Having a brother and sister to tell you, man, yeah, I heard you talking to arguing, this situation with your parent. Yeah, bro, you shouldn't have said that. No, man, but they said this to me. I was like, yeah, but did it make it any better? Again, you can win. Do you want to win an argument at the expense of losing a relationship? That's not how it works, okay? We're not called to win arguments. We are called to win souls. So how do we do that? Make sure, guys, be quick to listen to the person you're talking to and listen to the Spirit. Say, Lord, how can I speak to this person in such a way? Maybe they listen, they might not like what you're gonna say, but then that's okay. As long as it's coming from a place of love, that's now on them. All right, so I want you to pray about that, take it to God, and let's learn how to have better arguments, all right? God bless you.